Hi guys, how are you doing? So as promised, this video is going to be about my own A-levels and what happened when I took my A-levels, because I remember quite vividly that period of stress and anxiety and existential crisis. And I think you might benefit from my perspective, which is in much hindsight, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago hindsight. So here goes. So in a nutshell, what happened was that I held multiple offers for what I thought were reasonable grades, and I had an insurance and everything seemed okay. But I actually missed, my lowest offer was actually AAB, and I got ABB. And I was on track to get an A for one of the subjects I got B in, and I thought I was going to get an A. It's just one of those things that you don't even know what happened, because if you wanted to get the exams checked or the coursework checked, it's too late. No university is going to care about that, so it's almost pointless to try to fight it. Once you got the grades, you got the grades. At least for that year, for that entry, it's all done. And that was also 2011, which was the last old system with the old fees and everything before everything changed in 2012. So I essentially got into clearing, and my only option was London Met, London South Bank, etc. Because even universities like Queen Mary, the usual offer that would have been ABB for clearing turned into AAA or something like that. Okay, at this point I felt like my life was over, because, I mean, it sounds stupid, I know it is stupid, but for me it felt like my life was over because I had spent my whole life's agenda would epitomize itself in my mind by going to a really good university that would just kind of, yeah, you kind of feel like it's like a reward, it's like a prize, it's some sort of conclusion to your whole life's education, you know, and that was lost. So it was a very low point. At that point, I had just happened to also submit an application for a part-time degree at Birkbeck that I had never heard of before, just as a backup, and then I realized I was going to actually end up going there. I never thought it would actually end up being pretty much my only option, and I had no idea. I worried about whether a part-time degree was going to be a bad thing, whether this was all going to be a waste of time. It was very challenging. But it was not an option for me to not go to university, to not do a degree. It was just not an option. So I ended up going, and I wasn't living in London at that time, so I actually took the train to lectures a couple of times a week, 2 hours there and back in the same day. So it was kind of a big commitment and crazy at the same time. I actually used to walk, I don't know why I did this, but I used to walk from Liverpool Street to Birkbeck, which is about an hour and a half. So basically 2-hour train to London plus 1 hour and a half walk for the lectures, and then an hour and a half walk back, and then 2-hour train back. It was crazy. I mean, there were some very enjoyable bits to it, but overall, looking back, it was totally crazy. I was at that point eligible for a lot of grants from student finance, and I also got money from charities, educational charities, without which really I couldn't have done it. And on top of that, I was doing all sorts of jobs, like Clean Easy, where I basically just have to distribute hundreds of brochures to people's doors, you know, those annoying things, and then you just hope that someone orders something, you know. So I ended up most of the time just being on job seekers allowance, and anyone that's been on it knows that it's purposefully depressing. So I wasn't sure that the degree was going to take me anywhere, that my life was going to take me anywhere, and it was just a really shit time. So the process of things improving was slow and frustrating and arduous, but essentially I was determined to get internships and work experience and That's what contributes ultimately to your CV and to what you do afterwards. Obviously the degree in itself, and not even because it's from Birkbeck, but all part-time. Just any degree from anywhere nowadays doesn't necessarily do much on its own. And so the work experience and internships were kind of essential anyway, you know. And by getting that, I slowly added value to my education and to my work experience. And now I'm going to do a PhD at UCL, which is funny in hindsight because UCL was the only university who hadn't given me an offer when I first applied through UCAS. So that's a little brownie point in my book. So, you know, by now I've done amazing things that could never have been anticipated. I've done an internship in Germany, which was awesome. That was just last summer. I did an internship before that, which was in Cambridge, which was also awesome. Cambridge is the cycling capital of the UK, and where I did my German internship in Münster, it's the German cycling capital. So I feel like I'm collecting cycling capitals. All sorts of things that I can't even enumerate. But say a thing attributable to that is actually being enrolled at university, because you kind of have to qualify as a student at all, so that is kind of essential, as well as filling out really boring, soul-destroying applications that take a long time, but ultimately that is how you do it, and it pays off. Okay, I feel like this has been a bit depressing, and I'm sorry if it's been depressing, but basically the takeaway message is do your best, don't despair, and ultimately if you've got it in you and you want to do something, then nothing can stop you. And there's loads of amazing things that have been done by people who had no credit to them beforehand, and ultimately what you do becomes your credit, and you get it in hindsight often. So haha, exam time. Good luck, because you need luck. Okay, now you might think good luck and have luck is kind of stupid, because what does that even mean? But apparently, and I love this quote, it's not really a quote, is that you can become lucky and you can attract luck by doing this one thing, which is being open to different opportunities, doing things that you wouldn't normally do. Because ultimately, what is luck? Luck is a connection that it would be unlikely to happen in the normal gist of things. So if you have an unusual, unpredictable gist of things, like you don't just go there all the time, you kind of go there and then there just for a change, you kind of make more connections, and so luck becomes on your side. I'm sure you could have like a mathematical equation drawn up to show that, you know, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
Ah, exam time!